I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Green, rolling. In your track. Check it up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network as we get ready to kick off the penultimate round of the Fuel Premier Series season. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us. The issues from a week ago are resolved. I'm going to knock on wood as I say that. Looking forward to a fantastic night of racing tonight. 1 week ago, Mike Stroll picking up the win in a race that went green to checkers. No cautions, done in an hour and 13 minutes. Getting the win over Thomas Bresci, and that keeps the points battle tight here. Joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And, man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, this race really tonight is going to set the tone for the last kind of stretch run here. The points gap is very close, but Gateway is not an easy place to get around.
No, this track is almost impossible to set up a car for, at least in my opinion. As we see a bunch of cars wrecking here in practice, but each end of the track is incredibly different. Turns 1 and 2 are very, very tight, but they're high banked. Turns 3 and 4, however, are very, very wide, very fast, but it's very shallow, which means you can carry a lot of speed, but there's only one really good line there on the bottom, and the car really wants to push through there. So, do you set your car up for 1 and 2 and try and make some moves up there, or do you set it up, try and get the inside run into 3 and 4? And if you're in a fixed setup series, it becomes even harder, because that's usually how you get your moves around here, is your car is vastly different than the guy in front of you, and you can kind of pick up on your advantages and get away from him on his disadvantages. So it can be a very, very tricky track.
Well, let's take a look at some of the info that we have here on this racetrack. And this place originally opened in 1967. However, it's seen a couple of different configurations since then. As Patrick mentioned, 11 degrees of banking at the turn 1 and 2 end of the racetrack, as opposed to only 9 degrees at the turn 3 and 4 end. Place only 1.25 miles, so the straightaways are not going to be crazy long as well. There's we see Chad Mikas bouncing the car off the outside safer barrier at the exit of turn number 2. This really has the potential to be a little bit crazy all the way around here. One of the big things that we have to consider are the pit strategies. Looks like this one is going to be a 2-stop race, possibly a 3-stop race, depending on how well you can manage your fuel. You're only going to have 3 sets of tires in the box, so you'll probably take 4 tires every time you come down, because the main concern of these drivers tonight is going to be making those tires last. Thomas Bresci entering the night as your points leader, sitting on 2,138 markers. Mike Stroll with the win 1 week ago, only 21 points back, so this points battle is still very, very close. Taking over the second position from Justin Morton, who will now sit 29 points back. Rob Ackley, 44 back in the 4th position, and Justin Munsell, 51 back, will round out your top 5 here in the points standings. Practice is done. Qualifications getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack.
So as I'm reading up on my track facts, I did not know that this track used to be exclusively a road course here until it was basically demolished and turned into the oval we know and love or hate today.
I
have no luck at this track. It's nothing against the track. I'm not very good here.
This is one of those places that is just typically difficult to get around, and to do it in a very quick way can be, well, quite frankly, challenging at best here. As we'll pick up the 90 of Johnny Edward as he's making his way down the pit lane. Looks like the first car will get out onto the racetrack will be Kyle Cooper, and we'll get everything squared up here and get you ready to show it up in the side-by-side. And we'll get the timing tower up here as well, so you can see where your favorite driver is running at this point in the race. Cooper going to be out on the racetrack, as will Chris Matthews. Let's take a look here. There we go. Pick up Kyle Cooper here in the 73. He is on the left-hand side of your screen. Right-hand side of the screen will have that number 92 with Chris Matthews. The 73 of Cooper out of Mason, Michigan for Skidmark Central Racing, Old Style Dynamic Motorsports, and Classic Instruments on the side of that race car. Also, Don Runkle and Casey Shue, it looks like, out on the racetrack as well here. And Casey Shue is going to move that car to the top of the charts in the number 4, 34.805 seconds, 34.805, the lap timer record for Casey Shue. Kyle Cooper was second. Now he's going to be third. Chris Matthews going to the top of the board, 34.692 seconds. And Don Runkle will be the 4th car in line, that Hershey's Squirt, numbered 69, Ford Mustang. Runkle out of Kingman, Arizona for Pelletier McQuestion Simulations.
I've avoided a comment on that 69 for most of the season, but all I can say is he knew what he was doing when he made that paint scheme.
Yes, he did. It is actually, for a bit of a meme paint scheme, it is a pretty spectacular car, though.
It's fantastic. It's disturbing how good of a paint scheme it is for what is essentially a really, really funny joke.
Yes, it is. Quite frankly, hilarious. Daco Park on the left-hand side of your screen out of Clydesdale, Arizona for Skidmark Central Racing. The Valvoline colors on the side of that one. Right-hand side of your screen, we'll have the 90 of Johnny Edward. How about it, race fans? He's spent most of the season in the booth with us. Pick him up in the 94 machine off of turn number 4 out of Oxford, Michigan. Making a triumphant return to the race car for Domination Intimidation Racing, Boomer Logan. The National Guard colors on the side of that one, also Flash 4s and CNX Motion on the side of the 94. Right-hand side of the screen will pick up the 65 of Brent Kusick out of Charlotte, North Carolina for Domination Intimidation Racing. Lowe's Cookout and Cobalt on the side of that machine. You got to partake in some cookout, I believe your first time this past weekend, while we were down working the Cars Tour event at Dominion Speedway.
Yeah, I would say I got 3 hot dogs there. I didn't indulge in the full menu, but they were pretty good for fast food hot dogs. I think Dan's Hot Dogs in Hoboken, New Jersey has them beat still, but I only visited one cookout location. Maybe another one will surprise me.
Yes. You are a fan of the hot dog, that is for sure.
Yes, sir.
So these guys making their way back onto pit lane. Boomer Logan going to be second quick, 34.651 seconds, 34.651. The lap time of record for Boomer Logan. Left-hand side of the screen will pick up the 1 of Brandon Wengard. And the right-hand side of the screen will have the 66 of Brian Keita. Brandon Wengard out of Anderson, South Carolina for Domination Intimidation Racing. Subway Wonder and Gear Wrench on the side of the number 1. Right-hand side of your screen, that number 66 machine of Keita out of Bartlett, Illinois for Firelight Esports. Player One Coffee and Jerky Pro also on the side of that one. And left-hand side, we're up now with the 12 of Matt Owens out of Williamsburg, Virginia for Nerdy as Hell Racing, Dr. Squatch, Kettle Brand, Potato Chips, and the Nerdy as Hell podcast on the side of that Toyota Supra. Right-hand side of the screen, that 65 of Kusick. Well, we already talked about him. That's Casey Lakatos in the number 50 out of Waukesha, Wisconsin for Sim Motorsports, Sim TV, Grid Life, and FCP Euro on the side of the number 50. And Keita goes new quick time, top of the board. 34.54 with an 8, 34.548 seconds. Brandon Wegger going to be up to 7th quick at a 34.928, the lap time of record for that car. Matt Owens only going to be 9th quick. A little bit disappointing there on the lap time for Owens. But we've got a new quick time, top of the board. Casey Lakatos, 34.506, 34.50 with a 6. Fantastic lap time there for Casey Lakatos. 12 cars have already taken time here in qualifications. And how about 29 on the entry list here tonight, Patrick? That's kind of why they're hustling through these cars a good bit. There's just a lot of race cars to get through here. Always good to see a league getting these big fields with only a race or two left in the season.
Yeah, a lot of times, people come into a league, see there's no chance I win that championship. Well, there wasn't really a chance you were going to win it anyway, but unless you're really talented. But let's be real here, people. Most of you aren't. We're going full savage tonight.
Apparently.
And they don't want to run in the races until the next season starts, and then they run 2 races the next season, and then, there's no chance I'm winning this championship. Again, you weren't going to win it anyway. And quit. Which, it always just makes me angry when people do that in some of these leagues. It's like, you signed up for the league, run the whole thing. I'm in an F1 league. I think I'm dead last in points, if not farther back than that. There's no way I'm going to win that championship. I still go out there and race. It's a good time. People get out there. You sign up for a league. You run the full season.
Patrick choosing violence tonight. Brian McFerrin doing the same. New quick time, top of the board. 34.44 with a 5. 34.445. Brandon Bernhardt's going to beat it. 34.442 seconds for the pilot of the number 81 Old Smoky Moonshine entry. How about it? Tyler Hensley goes top of the board out of Knoxville, Tennessee on the right-hand side of your screen. JT Motorsports entry with Discount Tire, Milwaukee Tools, and Exalta on the hood of that one. Barnhart out of Harrisburg, South Dakota for Endeavor Racing. We mentioned Old Smoky Moonshine, Black Rifle Coffee Company, and Meat Church Barbecue on the side of that one. That's a good-looking Chevy Camaro right there. I like the just plain two-tone. Get the sponsor logos to blend in. I think it's a fantastic look. Left-hand side of the screen, a St. Louis Blues-inspired number 11 tonight for Justin Morton out of Sonoma, California for Total Downforce Racing Black Box and Pixel Dust. On the side of that entry, we'll pick up the 98 of Justin Munsell on the right-hand side of your screen out of Reno, Nevada for Sky Motorsports, Tahoe Blue Vodka, and Raycom. Couple of sharp-looking Ford Mustangs. Well, one Mustang, one Supra on the racetrack right now. Also have the 22 of Rob Ackley making his way around the racetrack out of Watertown, New York for Keeping It Real Esports and the Mara Racing Network. Adorning that Chevrolet Camaro. Also on the Speedway, we have the 95 of Joe Dinsmore out of Berryville, Virginia for Steel Horse Racing, Dragon Ball Super, iRacing, iFlag, and Steel Horse Racing. On the number 95, Dinsmore, heck of a lap. He's going to be P2, 34.312 seconds. Rob Ackley going to be up to third quick at a 34.416. Justin Munsell moving up to second quick, 34.268. How about 5/100ths off the quick time set by Tyler Hensley? Ooh, buddy, we are getting close. 19 of 29 have taken time here in qualifications. And they're only going to get quicker from here as we go, including this guy. He is your championship points leader right now. The 24 of Thomas Bresci heading out onto the racetrack. He has been absolutely unreal this season, trying to get that car wiggled around and warmed up just a little bit. For the number 24 of Bresci out of Malvern, Pennsylvania, driving for JT Motorsports, as always flying the Exalta colors. The 86 of Brian Young out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada for Firelight Esports. Kmart RC Cola on the hood and the quarter panels, also listing Target, Firelight Esports, and Rowdy Energy as sponsors on that machine. Another driver, couple of drivers here that we really need to talk about. The 2 of Will Roberts out of Efland, North Carolina for Nerdy as Hell Racing. That is an absolutely gorgeous Red Light Media Nerdy as Hell podcast number 2.
It almost reminds me of the old, like, Apple cars.
Yes. A fantastic paint job that, quite frankly, looks good. The other one of Thomas Bresci, he goes fast time, 34.212, 34.21 with a 2 for Thomas Bresci. He will be your quick timer. Brian Young going to move up to the 4th position. Will Roberts going to be 6th quick, 34.389, 34.389 seconds. For pilot number 2. And man, there are still some heavy hitters to come up here in the qualification session. Pick up Brian Young as he continues to make his way around the racetrack. These guys are coming in, still have yet to see our next cars roll out onto the racetrack, but here it comes. The number 93 of Travis McQuistion out of Tiffin, Ohio, for Pelletier McQuistion Simulations, Craftsman, Fresca, and Amazon. On the side of the 93, get yourself ready for Prime Day coming up here, not too far off into the future. Also on the racetrack on the right-hand side of the screen, the 25 of Chad Mikas out of Wheeling, West Virginia for Domination Intimidation Racing. Mountain Dew, Valvoline, and Ally are the listed sponsors on that car. Left-hand side of the screen, we'll pick up the 8 of Mike Stroll out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for Domination Intimidation Racing. The AC Delco throwback colors on the side of that one. And one more car we got to get in here on the screen for you. Right-hand side, that is the 13 of Blake Gordon out of Virginia Beach, Virginia for Endeavor Racing. McQuistion going to be fifth quick. No quick time, Blake Gordon, and he goes 34-1 with a couple of zeros at the end of it. 34.1 seconds even for Blake Gordon. Travis McQuistion going to be sixth quick, 34-311. Second quick for Mike Stroll, 34-212. Chad Mikus going to be 10th quick at a 34.403. Left-hand side of your screen will pick up the 00 of Alex Viccellio out of Westville, Illinois for Firelight Esports. Body Armor and Menards on the side of that entry. And we are down to, it looks like, one more car to possibly take time. That would be the 56 of Riley Thompson. The 11 of Justin Morton did not score a lap. That is huge in terms of the point standings.
Yeah, you can't afford to not turn a lap. This track is incredibly difficult to pass cars at. And if you're going to be starting in the back, it's going to be a pain to get yourself back up to the front.
It's going to take some, we'll say some finagling, some strategy games, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a long road to hoe here.
It's late enough in the season. You could also just move cars in front of you.
Go on board here with Alex Viccellio as he turns his lap. Oh, and he's going to be off the throttle as well. Alex Viccellio, well, he's off the throttle because he was finishing up his lap, and he's going to be fifth quick. I thought he was coming around to take the green. Viccellio, 34.252 seconds, 34.252. The lap time of record for Alex Viccellio. Not sure if we're going to see Riley Thompson out there at this point. And Justin Morton also not necessarily sure that we're going to have him out on the racetrack. So we may be done qualifications, and as it stands right now, Blake Gordon will be your quick timer. Driving for Endeavor Racing here. Let's see if we can sneak a word in here with our pole sitter here tonight. Congratulations, Blake, picking up a quite frankly, a well-earned pole award by a 10th and some change here. Congratulations, at least it looks like that way for right now. Tell us about the lap.
Thank you. Yeah, that lap felt really good. I really like this track a lot. It's got a lot of qualities that I usually do well at. You know, races sort of like a short track, got nice, flat, wide corners, so tends to be right up my alley. So always enjoy coming here, and getting a pole in this league always feels great.
What are your thoughts now as we head into the race? I would imagine tire management is going to be a very big deal. Quite frankly, there's a lot that's going to go into this. Just a lot of thought process stuff in terms of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, the tire sets we have available, with only having 3 in the race, you got to be kind of tactical when you take those. You can't be using them up early. So, yeah, of course, you got to manage the tires, make them last at least 40 laps each. And the setup's a little interesting. Sometimes it'll wishy-wash between being tight, being loose. So you just got to really manage it, hit the marks. It's very easy to overdrive 3 and find yourself sideways on the fence. So just got to be clean and no mistakes all night.
All right, Blake. Well, congratulations once again on picking up the Chance 3 Design Shop Pole Award here, and good luck in the race tonight.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Good luck in the booth tonight.
Thanks, bud. We are going to need it, too. After the weekend we had down at Dominion Speedway. That was interesting. I love that place. Such a fantastic racetrack.
I was surprised how nice it was for a short track. I didn't realize how new the track was. Only finishing construction in 2016.
Yep.
Everything is just fantastic there. It gives off a world-class facility vibe for being a 0.4 of a mile oval.
Yes, it does.
If that is what NASCAR is wanting to do at Auto Club, as much as I love the big super speedway, I say let them have it, because that was fantastic.
Yeah, that place definitely has a big-time feel to it. Currently has a 4/10 of a mile oval, has I'll call it a club circuit road course, more of like a driver's club type thing. There are plans to get a full-on drag strip installed at the facility as well. Lodging, hotel, very nice hotel right on the property. Very, very cool spot down there in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
And a sheet's right up at the corner, so if you forget your lunch, you got some right there.
That is exactly right. Just get there before midnight if you need to get the cold ones for after the race. The Commonwealth of Virginia doesn't let you buy beer after midnight. That one makes me sad. But all right, it is time for time for us to get ready to go racing here, Patrick. We've got the usual suspects here up at the head of the field. Blake Gordon, Mike Stroll are going to line up on the front row. Thomas Bressi, Tyler Hensley on row number 2. No real surprises here. The chalk is there. Are they going to be able to stay there, though? 120 laps around this place is not easy.
No, and I usually hit the wall after 5, so I can't even tell you what the car is going to feel like after a long run, because frankly, I've never made it that far here.
We always see fantastic racing when the PM18s come here as part of the TNT Shock Series or the Indy Pro 2000 Official Series Championship. We're looking for a little bit more of that here tonight as well. As we're going to see the Xfinity cars tonight. They will put on a pretty darn good show. Wednesday night, we're coming right back here with the NASCAR Next Gen cars as part of the Sim Racers Club series. You can check those broadcasts out on Wednesday nights. In fact, the links are already up on our YouTube channel, and the schedule is up on Twitch, so make sure you check that one out. Thank you, everybody that's tuning in. Give us a shout in the comments here. Let us know where you're watching from. Who are you rooting for tonight? We will do our best to get your comments up on the air here. And Gateway, really an interesting place, Patrick. It was a very neat-looking road course. They kind of gutted that to build the oval. It still has a drag strip there as well, running the NHRA Midwest Nationals for the Camping World Drag Racing Series. That's the ground pounders, man. Top Fuel, funny cars, pro stocks, all that stuff.
You know,
absolute great facility. Go ahead.
Standing on the starting line for a Top Fuel race, I say is something everyone has to experience just once. Don't do it any more than that because you'll go deaf and your lungs will probably fall out of your body. It is painful. I stood there for one run and kind of ran away back to the trailer.
Yes.
Those things are beasts.
They are incredible to be around. Curtis Francois, the owner of this place, has done an absolutely incredible job turning a racetrack that was once known as Gateway, picking up the sponsorship of Worldwide Technology. That partnership has been absolutely incredible. They do a fantastic job with the NTT IndyCar Series coming out there. Just hosted their first NASCAR Cup Series race. Just all around an absolutely fantastic venue. And let's get our first comment of the night in here. This one coming in from Andrew Murphy. Checking in from Pryor, Oklahoma. What's going on out there, bud? Hopefully you're enjoying the show. He is rooting for Thomas Bressi. Bressi's in a pretty good spot as it stands right now. 21 points up on Mike Stroll. The problem is with 29 cars in the show, a slight error can absolutely grenade Bressi's hopes of winning a championship and put him in a spot where he has to make up a lot of points. There's the halfway bonus points on offer, plus all the bonus points that come from leading a lap and leading the most laps and that kind of stuff. Bressi can't let the slack down.
No, he has been dominant all season, but if he gets wrecked out early at this race and ends up at the back of the field, the whole season's worth of work just right down the drain. He'll still be up there. He'll still be towards the front, but pretty sure it puts him in a must-win situation for next week.
It's at least not the ideal situation. We'll say it that way here. Let's see if we can't get a word in here quickly with our points leader. And Thomas, what are your thoughts here? You're going to line up on the outside of the front row tonight opposite Blake Gordon. but there's a lot on the line here tonight. You have to be thinking championship at this point as well.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be an interesting night. This is it's an interesting setup. Hard drive's kind of weird. I also have not raced at Gateway in I don't know, 3 years, maybe. It's been a minute or 10, but we're okay. It was a bit of a learning experience in practice, but I think we're in a better spot now and put together an okay qualifying lap, and at least I don't have to like do a bunch of track position gaining and stuff in the first stint like I did last week. So hopefully we can keep it and just keep the car clean and get a good finish here.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the front row start here, and good luck tonight. Hopefully we're talking to you again a little bit later on.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
All right, hopefully I'm dropping him back in the right room. I think I did. Pretty sure he goes to JT Motorsports. Yes, okay. Got him in the right spot. That would be my luck. I would drop him into some team strategy discussion here. Clock has expired on qualifications. Very exciting announcement coming up here next week on our season finale broadcast of the Fuel Premier Series. No teasers, no spoilers, but it's going to be a big one. No giant-ass spoilers either, to quote Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the NASCAR cars.
I'll give you a spoiler. They'll be making some more left turns next year. I can next season. I can tell you that.
Yes, the Fuel Premier Series will be doing more left turns. And I can't talk about it. They embargoed us. They said we're not allowed to talk, so we're not going to talk. I'm looking forward to this. I'll say it that way. But it is time for us to go racing here at Gateway. Let's see. Pick up yeah, we can use this camera. We'll bring this one up and we'll show you tonight's starting grid. And this is a fantastic lineup we have here. How about identical lap times to the 1,000th for second and third? But it's going to be Blake Gordon, your pole sitter, at a lap time of 34.101 seconds. Lining up on the pole position to his outside will be Thomas Bressi. Mike Stroll and Tyler Hensley going to occupy row number 2. Alex Ficellio and Justin Munsell on row 3. Brian Young, Travis McQuistion on row number 4. Row 5, Joe Dinsmore and Will Roberts. How about another set of identical laps set by McQuistion and Dinsmore? And you got to get all the way back to 10th place, Will Roberts, to find your first quarter of a second away from your pole sitter. Chad Mikus and Rob Ackley on row number 6. Row number 7 will have Brandon Bernhardt and Brian McFerrin. Casey Lakatos and Brian Keita on row number 8. Row 9, Daco Parka and Boomer Logan. Row number 10 will have Christopher Matthews and Casey Shue, Jonathan Gervin and Kyle Cooper on row number 11. Row 12, Brandon Wengard and Don Runkle. Row number 13, Matt Owens and Johnny Edward. Big surprise there to see Matt Owens lining up in the 25th position. Brent Kusick and Riley Thompson on row number 14, and all alone on row 15, the guy who is third in points right now, Justin Morton. He's got a long way to go, but a lot of time to get there. Getting ready for 120 laps at Gateway. Pace car is in. We're getting ready to go green, and as always, race fans, start of this one is going to be all yours. Off of turn number 4, lap number 1 will belong to Blake Gordon. Thomas Bressi having the peak down to the inside. The battle for the race lead will continue through 1 and 2. Bressie going to get a nice drive through the middle of the corner. Big time acceleration for Gordon. Going to set him up to take the lead. Just about clear. He does clear as they get to turn 3.
I'm always amazed at this track, how quickly they kind of dive into single file, because unlike some of the other tracks we go to, there really is only one fast line around here. Maybe in 1 and 2 you can try and run the high line, but 3 and 4, there's only one line you can take and not get hung out to dry.
Picking up the battle here on the left-hand side of your screen, that was Travis McQuistion taking position away from Tyler Hensley. Was the battle for the 7th position. They are going to get themselves sorted out fairly quickly. And it's like you mentioned, Patrick, quite frankly, this is what we're seeing here right now. These drivers kind of have to get in line. If you're going to play the tire management game, you have to start that early. You really don't want to burn the stuff up in the first couple of laps.
No, and it's very easy to do here. This track is really, really good for understeer entering the corners and oversteer exiting the corners. So not only do you have to worry about the right front, which I heard the drivers talk about the right front issues in the pre-race, you also have to worry about the right rear, because that car will want to snap around on you coming out of 2 and 4.
Take a look at our weather conditions here today, presented by our friends at the Weather Center, because that could come into play. 80-degree ambient temperature. Winds going to be, we'll say, out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour under cloudy skies. Only 88 degrees on the track temperature, Patrick. That's a little bit of a saving grace. It's not too crazy hot that they're going to be burning the tires up. It's more just going to be the lateral motion of the car through the corners that's really going to chew the tires up.
Yeah, these cars do not like to turn around this racetrack. I know they put bank in here. I know the walls force the cars to go to the left. But really, these cars feel like they want to be on the drag strip here.
So we'll pull up here on the right-hand side of your screen. That will be your top 3 right now. Blake Gordon, Thomas Bressie, and Michael Stroll. We'll use the left-hand side to kind of show you some of the battles farther back in the pack, especially as things start to settle down a little bit. Oh, almost had one car sliding up towards the outside retaining wall. You have Daco Parkett and Brian McFerrin running side by side. Brandon Bernhardt and Riley Thompson side by side as well. And Thompson not going to be eligible for your hard charger as he didn't turn a lap in qualifications, but already up 12 spots. Riley Thompson, very, very quick. We've seen him this season be very good since he came in. In fact, I believe picking up a race win late in the season. Thompson getting a pole position at the Darlington Raceway back early in the month of May. And I would guess if you're going to make the big charge, you sort of have to try it very early on in the race. You really don't have a lot of time. Once things really start to spread out, it becomes a little bit more difficult to pick cars off one at a time.
Yeah, and clean air is king here. I wouldn't be surprised if the leader of this race, whoever it is at any given point, just runs away. And it's going to be really difficult to catch them. Really, your only option is going to be a caution once the tires start to wear down.
The other car putting some moves on here is the 11 of Justin Morton. He's down to the inside of Jonathan Gervin into 3 and will get the pass completed. That's going to put Morton up 9 spots, not nearly gaining as quickly as Jonathan Gervin, or excuse me, as Riley Thompson, I should say. But all in all, not a bad run to this point. And maybe a little bit surprising here, Patrick, is we peek back to the front of the field here. Our race leader, Blake Gordon, not necessarily running away and hiding, but you almost wonder if that isn't because of basically you know what pace you need to keep the gap, and you don't have to run your hardest. You can kind of do just enough to keep the lead.
Yeah, that definitely be taking the Prost strategy to it. But at the same time, that saves your stuff, and then when everyone else starts burning their stuff up, you keep going just the same pace you were, and you're going to pull away even farther.
It's almost like you know who's behind you with Thomas Bressi there. You don't have to run away from him, because if you get too far, Bressi could opt to go for some kind of an alternate strategy. By keeping him close, you're keeping him engaged and quite frankly, ready to fight you if he thinks he's got a shot at it. Put the leaders back up on the right-hand side of the screen for you. We'll pick up the battle between Justin Munsell and Travis McQuistion. Those cars running in the 6th and 7th position. Justin Morton has come around Christopher Matthews as well, so put him up 10. Morton, I believe, will be eligible for the Primate Pest Elimination Hard Charger Award.
You see, it looks like they're trying to go 3 wide further back in the pack. I think they singled out now. Yep.
Yeah, settling down a little bit here. That's Joe Dinsmore down on the inside of the racetrack. Tyler Hensley up on the outside, being followed by Rob Ackley. This is the battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th on the racetrack. Definitely starting to see some comers and goers at this point. Tyler Hensley down 6, now 7 from where he started this race. That car obviously not handling to his liking. Dinsmore is going to continue the fight down on the inside of the racetrack. We'll pop that one up for you on the full screen. Also just ahead, Travis McQuistion battling with Justin Munsell. That one's going to settle down. And like you mentioned, Patrick, they were 3 wide, then they weren't. They were 2 wide, and then they weren't. You almost have to get single file at corner entry because the outside lane is really not pleasant here.
No, in 1 and 2, it's doable. However, in 3 and 4, it's either you're going to hit the wall or you're going to have to slam your brakes and let the next 6, 7 cars go by as they pass you on the straightaway because you enter the straightaway 20 miles an hour slower. It's a very, very difficult circuit to get around, and once you're hung out to dry, it's very difficult to get yourself back where you were, just like at Daytona and Talladega.
Casey Licato's having a look inside of the 7 of Brian McFerrin into turn 3. Now, as soon as we say all that, yeah, we say that.
Wrong, and now, I will say, I am not good at this track. I'm sure it is possible, as we just saw here, to pass and on the outside and hold your position. Again, I usually end up in the wall, so these guys are a lot more talented than I am.
Pick up Rob Ackley looking inside of Joe Dinsmore down the back straightaway. Hensley falling out of contention in that battle just a little bit. Looks like Ackley may get a little bit better drive off the corner here and be able to clear Hensley. Now get a dip to the inside of Dinsmore as well, but nice drive off the corner for Dinsmore is going to allow him to hold on to the 11th position. Very quickly here, Patrick, we are already 18 laps into this race. I would imagine if the tires are going to cliff, they're probably hitting that point. Either they've already hit that point or they're going to start to hit that point. How do you manage that as a driver where you just know, like, okay, this thing's going to turn to dog crap really soon. You can't stop it from happening necessarily, but you do have the possibility of trying to manage the tires a little bit.
I would start with rolling the corners a little bit more, letting off the gas sooner, getting on the gas later, just kind of rolling the center, maybe even just trailing the brake a little bit to get the car to turn. Doing all these little things, they'll slow you down a little bit now, but they'll push that cliff a little bit further back, which can be a huge help on the back end of a run.
How about things heating up for the race lead a little bit here? Blake Gordon having to run a little bit higher line through turns 1 and 2. Thomas Bressie able to hold the inside lane. He was about a half car length off the bottom of the racetrack as well. But what was about a half-second lead for Gordon, now we're going to measure in about a car length and a half as they come through 3 and 4. And Mike Stroll going to be right there as well. Bressie not only contending with Blake Gordon for the win, but his main nemesis for the championship is going to be right on his back bumper.
Yeah, this is not a look I'd want to see if I was Thomas Bressie.
And what's interesting, we haven't said that at all this season. Bressie has been a dominating force in this league, and because of the reset for the fuel finals, things tightened up. Mike Stroll getting the win last week at the Auto Club Speedway. Now all of a sudden we've got a fight on our hands here.
And that's exactly what the fuel finals were intended to do, is you can run away with the championship all you want all season, but then you got to fight for it again. You got to prove you can do it twice. Which, if I've seen anything from him this year, I think he can, but it's going to be tough.
Now working lap number 23 of 120. Man, Mike Stroll, that number 8 AC Delco machine looks absolutely fantastic right now. As it stands, the quickest car on the racetrack. Now, we're only talking by a couple of hundredths here over the 5-lap average. Over the 15-lap average, it's still about 2 to 3 hundredths of a second. But right now, among the leaders, Mike Stroll is the quickest of the lot. Oh, we've got trouble for the 2 of Will Roberts. He has had an issue. Trying to see what happened. Doesn't look like the car has a ton of damage on it. But he was just very slow entering turn number 1. Lost 3 or 4 positions. Man, he's having a hard time getting that car to rotate through the center as well.
Has he hit anything, or has it just been tires falling off of it?
I think it may just be tire fall off. Last lap for, for Will Roberts, 38.187, as opposed to a 5-lap average he's been turning of a 36.5. And that does factor in the 38-second lap as well. He lost about a second and a half that last lap. We're watching that one, and how about a battle for the lead? Blake Gordon losing a couple of spots. Thomas Bressie and Mike Stroll coming past.
And it looks like he hit the wall there a little bit exiting too as well.
Take a look. Show you the pass here on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Yeah, I think Blake Gordon may have cooked off those right side tires. Bressie able to come past cleanly down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. And the rest of the field is really catching up to the race leaders as well. Mike Stroll able to come past. We slide back. There's Blake Gordon. But now fourth place, Alex Viccellio, not all that far behind your race leaders. Talking about a second gap to the race leader.
Yeah, it seems like he was pushing a little too hard to keep Bresci behind him. Which, he had the advantage. He had the clean air. How did this happen?
Alex Viccellio getting a little bit loose there. Man, great fight here with the 86 of Brian Young. Travis McQuistion, Justin Munsell going to be there. Oh, buddy, big wiggle out of the 86 of Brian Young. Man, these cars are really turning into a handful. This makes you wonder, can they even go the 40? I mean, they kind of have to go the 45 laps. Viccellio bounced it off the wall at the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, this really is going to be a race of who can hold on to the tires for the longest.
We're only working lap number 29, and these drivers are already absolutely hurting for fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles.
Now, the good news for these drivers who are waiting to put tires on the car is so is everyone else, and someone's going to have an issue where they can't hold on to the car anymore. They're going to bounce it off the wall, and there's your free caution flag for a set of tires. You just got to hope it's not you bouncing into the wall.
Well, yeah, but you also have to make them last. If you only have 3 sets on the box, I guess you could break it up into, what, 4 30-lap stints? The one set you start with plus 3 more. Hypothetically, the pit window is open now. But with the way the lap times are about 1.5 seconds slow, even amongst the race leaders. Could that be a worthwhile strategy to attempt?
The undercut could definitely be the way to go tonight. You start doing it now, you split it up into those 4, or yeah, that would be a 3-stop race versus the 2-stop strategy. But it almost seems like you can make it up.
Yeah, the best lap of the race for Thomas Bresci, 34.454. Oh, and the caution is out. Yellow flag is on the racetrack for the first time here tonight. Trouble for Daco Parka and Boomer Logan. Take a look and see. Let's see what happened here on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Boomer sliding up the racetrack, comes back down, slightest bit of contact.
Oh, he got help.
Little bit of help. I won't call that Punterino.
That looked gentle enough that he'll be all right.
Yeah, it doesn't look like either car, quite frankly, has a ton of damage to it.
That almost looks like both the cars that I got bounced around on the highway with. Both of them were fine, and I was junked.
So field making their way down pit lane, and quite frankly now, Patrick, we have our answer. This is going to be a 3-stop race.
Yeah, I was just doing the math, and you didn't really have an option other than to make it a 3-stop race. If you were to push it out to lap 45 like was planned, that's 2 seconds a lap times 15 laps per pit cycle. That's 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes worth of time versus making those 3 stops, pitting at lap 30. Even though you're spending an extra 1.15 minutes in the pits, you still have that 15 seconds on the back end at your last stop where you're going to make up all that time and fly by everyone. So there's really no other strategy. It's not like it's a close call between either one. This is the strategy you need to be on tonight.
So Boomer Logan stayed out on the racetrack. I would imagine he will be coming down pit lane this time, unless he's going to try to bank on track position or a couple of quick yellows or something, try to get himself into an off strategy. Although Casey Licatos came down pit lane and went straight through, did not stop in his pit box. Boomer Logan now coming down pit lane. So Casey Lakatos will be your race leader. Let's see if we can find Casey here to talk to. Because this is a very interesting call. Casey, Chris Graham in the NRM booth. Do you have a copy on us?
I do, Chris. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing all right. I am interested to know what's the thought process here on the strategy call. You came down pit road, but then didn't stop.
Correct. Kind of a secret thing I've been doing for a long time. I learned it from somebody else, and I will be pitting this time by got to get the points where I can get them. So I'm not too fast tonight and not feeling too great about the car. The right front's gone for sure. So I will definitely be going to get tires because I would not be competitive and likely wreck the field being up where I'm at.
All right, bud. We will let you take care of your pit business here. But good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, sir.
So Casey Lakatos making his way down pit lane. That will put Thomas Bressi into the lead of the race, and the choose cone is out. Bressi electing to restart on the inside of row number 1. Mike Stroll taking the outside, as does Blake Gordon. That will promote Travis McQuistion up to the 3rd position for the restart. 5th will be the 86 of Brian Young. And to his outside will be the 22 of Rob Ackley. 98 of Justin Munsell, the 25 of Chad Mikas. On row number 4, Joe Dinsmore and Brian McFerrin, it looks like, will occupy row number 5 here for the restart. 32 laps was the first stint. That will get you to the end of the race, and if you can make it 32 each time, it's actually going to make that final pit stop a little bit of a short fill as well in terms of fuel. Imagine you'll take the 2 tires because you want to be full of fuel for any green and white checkers, but I don't really see anybody having the opportunity to save a set of tires here, Patrick.
I would say not a chance unless we get a ton of yellows. And Thomas Bressi after a huge start. Now, I don't recall, does this league use the restart zones or not use them?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Because if we are, that looked like it would be a definite jump start there. However, he doesn't look to be slowing down. If we don't see him pull into the pits this time, he should be all right.
And that would be an unreal, unforced error for Thomas Bressi. The kind of mistake that, quite frankly, we haven't seen him make all season long.
And it looks like he's fighting really hard with Michael Stroll, trying to keep him back there.
Yeah, we'll pick up the side-by-side here. Race leaders on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll get the battle a little bit further back here. Tyler Hensley going to be down to the inside of the racetrack, and he will have the 11 of Justin Morton up on the outside. Morton up 17 positions. If he is a contender for the Primate Pest Elimination Hard Charger Award, he's going to be your leader in the clubhouse as we speak. As it stands right now, your Nerdy as Hell Podcast Rookie of the Race Award apparently would belong to Rob Ackley in the number 22. Ackley running in the 5th position. Good run for Rob here. Actually, let's pick him up. Ackley currently up 7 positions after qualifying in 12th tonight. Nice run for Rob Ackley and keeping the race leaders in sight, which on a difficult night for passing, probably about what your goal is here. If you're not going to be in them, you at least want to be able to see them. Mike Stroll had a peek on Thomas Bressi into 3. He's going to do it again, this time towards turn 1. Can Stroll outbreak the race leader? He cannot. Bressi slams the door just a little bit. Man, Mike Stroll is going to be right there off at turn number 2.
This is fantastic what we're seeing out of the two of them. Will Mike Stroll try and dive him into turn 3? He will. And he gets there to the inside. I don't know if Bressi's going to be able to hold out on the outside, but it looks like he's going to get the run off the corner. Or not. He slides up a little bit.
Bressi kept the momentum, wound up just enough to lead lap number 40 at the start-finish line. But again, Stroll down to the inside. What really is kind of makes me a little bit nervous. Ooh. Is Mike Stroll wearing the tires out on that number 8 just a little bit too much? How about Blake Gordon? Oh, he thinks better of it. He thought about 3 wide into 3.
Now, if I was Thomas Bressi, on one hand, I can't afford to let Mike Stroll by. On the other hand, I really can't afford for him to wreck me tonight. So, do you stay? Do you go?
Oh, man, Gordon again shows the nose into turn 1. And Stroll will get the pass completed. Oh, there's almost contact! Gordon has to back out of the throttle on the exit of turn number 3. Here comes Bressi back to the inside of Stroll.
Can you guys tell them that we're not even halfway yet?
No, and quite frankly, we'll take it. Because the side-by-side battling has also tightened things up here. Travis McQuistion gaining some ground, as are Rob Ackley, Chad Mikas, Brian Young, and Justin Munsell. Put them all there in the line. Bressi down to the inside. Man, Gordon's going to get a nice run here as well. Oh, there's almost contact! They may have bounced off each other. Bressi back to the lead. Gordon down to the inside. Let's not forget here, Blake Gordon, 6th in the point standings, currently 55 points back. He is not going to be upset one bit if Mike Stroll and Thomas Bressi wreck out here. That's about the one shot he has at a championship.
That'll bring him back into contention.
Oh, man, Mike Stroll going to be right there. Let's go on board here with Blake Gordon down the front stretch. Interesting to hear the downshift there. Oh, and Stroll's way up the racetrack through 1 and 2.
And this is exactly what Thomas Bressi wanted to see tonight.
Yeah, I kind of wondered, did Mike Stroll cook off the right side tires fighting with Thomas Bressi as hard as he was? You really can't afford to give up a handful of positions. Now, it was only, we'll call it 2 where it stands right now. But if these tires are way hot and overheated, this could be big-time trouble here for Mike Stroll.
I almost wonder if Thomas Bressi took a bunch of life off those tires as well.
I would tend to think so, at least a little bit anyway. He was really pushing inside. Oh, Ackley's down onto the grass.
You know, I know there's been passes in the grass previous years. However, that's not how you do it.
Now Chad Mikas looking inside of Mike Stroll into turn number 1. That had ugly potential written all over it. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, a little bit of a bottle up. Stroll had to get way to the outside. What a save!
Does Stroll have damage to the front of that car? Did he? Because I see damage on the back of Ackley's car. It almost looks like they got into each other. And yes, there is damage on the front of that car.
Man, that is not what Mike Stroll needed tonight. there's always the potential that comes with the repairs necessary when you make your next pit stop. But I also have to wonder here, with the way these cars stay tucked in line, could Mike Stroll run into overheating issues later in this race as well?
It's definitely possible, and he's going to need to monitor his temps. Now, he is getting past kind of like he's standing still now. So it's going to be very difficult for him to get back up to the front of the field. It is all damage control from here on out.
That's exactly what it is at this point, because not only does Brian Young get past, but here comes Justin Munsell as well. The 98 machine going to get clear. We will absolutely continue to follow the storyline of Mike Stroll. Go back up to the side-by-side here as well, because we've got a pretty good battle for the race lead firing up. Travis McQuistion wants a piece of Blake Gordon down the back straightaway. That will move Travis McQuistion up to position number 2, and he is hot and heavy in pursuit of Thomas Bressie. Gordon going to try to fight back on the outside, but no dice that time off of 4. That will put the 93 up to position number 2. McQuistion getting it maybe a little bit of a surprise win at the Daytona International Speedway to kick off the season. Didn't hear a ton from him since. In fact, got into the Fuel Finals as basically one of the last alternates, barely making the points threshold to have the win lock him in. But McQuistion, after a strong run 1 week ago, up 5 points in the standings. He's trying to make a big move here once again. Quite frankly, a win, even a second place, very likely to move him up at least 1, if not 2 spots. Could see Travis McQuistion as high as 4th in points by the end of the night. Now 20 laps into the run on this set of tires here, and we started to see things get a little bit hairy kind of about now, frankly. They managed to go 32 laps on the last stint, but that was dictated more by the caution flag than it was the length of the run. McQuistion going to be right there on Thomas Bressie. That battle starting to settle down. Let's slide back a little bit here, because Mike Stroll continues to fall right now. Joe Dinsmore coming around to the inside through 1 and 2. That is going to drop Stroll back to the 8th position. Tyler Hensley, who also has had a handful tonight, now only about 4/10, maybe half a second back as Stroll as they enter 3. Almost looked like Stroll got a piece of the rumble strips to the inside. That car got a little bit loose. That is something that not every racetrack has, are those rumble strips down on the inside. A distinguishing factor, another one of them here at Gateway.
That's a cool thing. I'd like to see at more racetracks. It's very, very old school to have rumble strips on the inside of an oval. And I can't really think of anywhere anymore that does it other than Gateway.
Yeah, I think even Pocono may have gotten rid of theirs. Pocono might be the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that may still have.
I guess Indy's got them, but they're not like rumble strips like you see there. They're kind of like a little concrete patch you can run over.
Yeah, they have. It's more like a curb. Oh, and caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Looks like Brian McFerrin having an issue. And now the strategy game is going to be very, very interesting here, Patrick. Let's take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay first. See what happened to the 7. Oh, that was some Punterino. Oh, man, several cars going to get involved. The 22 of Rob Ackley goes around. Will Roberts in the 2 also getting a piece of that. But as we come back to the green flag look here, or excuse me, to the caution flag look, the live look though. Thomas Bressi, your race leader. Who is going to come down pit road, and will anybody stay out? We're 24 laps into this run. That means you're either going to have one very long stint on a set of tires, or you won't have them for a late race caution.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to do pit stops every 30 laps, we're just a little bit shy. However, we're going to have to push these tires longer than they've been pushed all night, which means I think we'll see another early caution, which is going to really throw off the strategy for tonight.
I am absolutely floored. Everybody is on pit lane right now. The problem is, I mean, you're a sitting duck. Don't get me wrong. You are absolutely hosed on the restart if you elect to stay out. However, it's early on in the run here to be using up your second set of tires, as Thomas Bressi, your race leader, is down and away, and he will win the race off of pit lane. Stop of 14.77 seconds for 4 Goodyear Racing Eagles, Toucan, Sunoco Fuel. Blake Gordon, Travis McQuistion, Chad Mikas, and Brian Young will be the top 5. Mike Stroll coming out in the 8th position after a 14.97 second stop. I'm going to guess here, yeah, kind of no damage repair needed on that number 8 machine. Let's see here. Looks like we, still have lights on the iRacing safety truck. So we'll go at least one more lap here under the caution flag. The only car that was a lap down and will be the lucky dog was Casey Shue. Casey, however, after some early issues tonight, being scored 12 or so laps behind your race leaders. So we'll take a look here at the comments, see who's checking in. Actually, it's pretty quiet right now in the comments. Give us a shout if you like the video. Give it a share. Best way you can help us out. If you feel so inclined, we do have super chats there as well. We appreciate those. And how about this one, Patrick? Thomas Bressi is going to pick up the points for leading at the halfway point. That's big in this championship battle, with Mike Stroll restarting no better than 7th or 8th. I believe when you cross halfway under caution, they go back to where they were at the last green flag lap, and I could be mistaken there, but one way or the other, Mike Stroll going from 2nd or 3rd place points at halfway, now only picking up 7th place points. That's going to see the points gap open up here a little bit as we sit in race.
And this is the kind of consistency we've seen out of Thomas Bressi all season, and he's shown it off that he still hasn't.
So field will make their way off of turn number 4. Once again, Bressie going to get a fantastic jump, and we'll give you a shot here to crank it up. Off of turn number 4, Blake Gordon going to be right there. He wants a piece of your race leader. Oh, and caution is out. Trouble once again. We've got big time trouble out on the racetrack. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay.
Just sting a car into the wall and everyone else is stuck there.
A track blockage on the front straightaway. Thankfully, everybody else was able to get past. Rob Ackley going to be involved in that one. I think it really started with Boomer Logan getting loose here. Let's take a look and see if we can't find Boomer and pick him up. Oh, yeah, that car just ping-ponged off the outside wall. John Gervin goes around. Wow, what a move by Riley Thompson.
Absolutely fine.
Oh, man. Let's see if we can't find Boomer Logan here to talk to. Boomer, we were hoping to talk to you under a little bit different circumstances here, but can you tell us what happened out there?
Yeah, I was just trying to get around the 10, to be honest, and yeah, I overdrove the crap out of it, got super loose, and had to check out the field, so definitely my fault there. Would have loved to talk to you guys again under better circumstances, but it happens, I guess. Mistakes after being gone so long.
Is the car, how badly is the car damaged, if at all, and are you getting a meatball or anything?
No meatballs. It looks like I've got about a minute of repair, so I'm going to try and take most of that here and just sit on pit road. So, but yeah, I hate that. That was not my goal for tonight. I really didn't want to be messing up anyone's night, especially any of the guys in the finals. So my first race back just about all season. So, but it's fun. It happens. Just got to be patient and stop overdriving the car.
All right, Boomer, thank you very much for checking in with us here. We'll put you back in the Domination Intimidation Racing Room. A handful of cars down pit lane, all for repairs, including Tyler Hensley, Rob Ackley, the aforementioned Boomer Logan, Kyle Cooper, Brandon Wengert, Brent Kusick, Jonathan Gervin, and Casey Shue. And Casey Shue, it actually looks like may be out of his race car. And I guess, Patrick, at this point where this kind of starts to turn ugly for some of these drivers is we didn't get very many laps in, and now we're going to add a heat cycle to this set of tires. They went 5 laps of green flag racing, which is about just enough time to really get things up to temperature, and then you shut it all back down again.
Yeah, it's really, really hard on these tires, and it's going to decrease the life in them. Although, on the flip side, it does harden the tires a bunch, and as long as you can keep the temps down during racing, it might actually make them last just a touch longer.
So again, it boils back down to tire management is going to be the name of the game here.
Yes.
Well, we're down to 55 laps to go, so if you want to get it down to 35, you're going to have to go 20 or so laps more. That would only take you out to 27, 28 laps on this set of tires. I guess we could theoretically see a little bit shorter of a final stint. But man, you're really going to have to go into conservation mode, though.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing, is figuring out how much to conserve, how much is worth losing, and it's really all damage control from here. How far back can I avoid this thing from going? Which is really not proper English, but that's kind of your mindset, is you're going backwards no matter what. It's just a matter of how much you're going to let yourself go backwards.
And even parts of that even boils down to how the choose rule is going to cycle out as well. If you get a bunch of cars on the inside or the outside, maybe you pick up a handful of spots and do some damage management that way. But we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here after the third caution of the night. Thomas Bressie and Blake Gordon on row number 1, Travis McQuistion and Chad Mikas on row 2. Brian Young, Justin Munsell on row 3. Row 4 will have, looks like, Mike Stroll and Joe Dinsmore. Bressie really going to bring the field down slow this time. Bottle him up, bottle him up. Now he punches the gas right as they hit the start of the restart zone. Bressie will have the race lead as we go green here at lap 67. McQuistion going to be able to hold off Mikas, but maybe not for long. Oh, there's contact! That's going to open the door for Brian Young. 3 wide into 3, never a good idea. Oh, and there's the contact! What a save by Chad Mikas!
Are we going to stay green through that?
Oh no, Brian Young's down to the inside wall. Caution is out right in front of the field. Oh, and he got absolutely drilled. Tough break there for Brian Young. Take a look at the hot shoe race where instant replay. Right as Blake Gordon went for the race lead, a little bit too much on exit. Oh, man. Don Runkle absolutely pile drives the 86.
Absolutely giving the 86 to Hershey Squirt.
You've been waiting for like 2 months to make that joke, haven't you?
I might have, yes.
That's hilarious.
You can't drive a car with Hershey Squirt on the side of it and not expect me to make a joke about it at some point. Especially if it's the number 69.
And confirm that one there, little buddy. So, we were just talking about a heat cycle. I don't think they got enough laps in here to really get everything back up to temperature. But it can't be a good thing either.
It could be a good thing, because if we keep getting all these cautions, you'll save a set of tires to have a good set at the end of the race.
That's a great point, as we see John Gervin taking a wave around. We'll see. I don't think we would be likely to see anybody down pit lane this time. At this point, if you were to make the stop, it's basically throwing away a set of tires. You're not far enough into the run to have kind of gotten anything out of that.
Yeah, I would say you have to wait till at least lap 90 to put them on.
Well, we say that, and here comes Riley Thompson down pit lane. And Thompson does not look to have much damage at all. Maybe a little bit there at the front end. You can see the hood sort of caved up and around a little bit, but Thompson comes down pit lane and already down and away. No tires on the stop there for Riley Thompson. So we'll pick up race leader Thomas Bressie. had a couple of very long green flag runs. Now we're going to kind of go stop and start, stop and start. Was any of that maybe a consequence of being bottled up on the restart? That's one of the things that the restart zone was kind of designed to eliminate, was the accordion effect of waiting for the starter to throw the green flag, which at some racetracks you would get very close to the start-finish line. Gave the leader almost too much room to work with.
It definitely could be an effect, and I don't know if the restart zone is as effective as it's supposed to be. As you know, I race at Snydersville. We've got a restart zone there, and the same games still get played. It's very, very difficult to tell a bunch of race car drivers not to play games on restarts, especially when one of them's leading the race.
Well, the lights are out. We're going to get ready to re-rack them and try it again here. It will be Bressie and Gordon on row 1. Chad Mikas, he wrecked. He absolutely wrecked. He just didn't finish it. Flat sideways through turn 4. Incredible save. And he's going to hold on to the 4th position, restarting outside of Travis McQuistion. Justin Munsell and Mike Stroll on row number 3. Row 4 will have Joe Dinsmore and Alex Ficellio. Justin Morton, Casey Lacados on row number 5. Gordon trying to get the restart time. McQuistion is right there. Little bit better of a restart for Gordon, but once again, Bressie just absolutely skunks the field. Here's McQuistion looking inside of Chad Mikas. Oh, a little bit of contact. Mikas bounces off the wall. Stroll's involved. He's going to spin down the back straightaway.
So we see another mess of cars. Oh my jeepers.
And I think Mike Stroll potentially, well, maybe not. The back end of that car is now banged up pretty severely as well.
And we got a bunch of modifieds back there too now.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll take a look and see what happened here off at turn number 2. Started with Chad Mikas bouncing off the wall. Stroll got turned down to the inside. Joe Dinsmore going to be involved heavily in this one as well. Oh, Will Roberts with a huge hit into the outside concrete barrier. Take a look here and see if we can see what happened to the 2. Things just accordioned up in a big way. Oh, big shot there. 73 car taking the front end off. Kyle Cooper getting a big piece of that, as did Tyler Hensley as well. And a lot of damaged race cars making their way down pit lane. Now you have to wonder here, Patrick, we're 16 laps into the stint. Chad Mikas is on pit lane. Alex Ficellio is on pit lane. Tyler Hensley, Brian McFerrin.
I would want to wait till lap 90, but that's just me. You pit at lap 90, we know we can go 30 laps on these tires. That gets you to the end, and that should give you another set of tires in the box. No, it won't. But that'll space them out evenly at least.
Yeah, this is the 3rd set of tires that these drivers are using. So they're going to have to stop one more time. And it will be a full fuel and tire stop here. So Mike Stroll making his way down off of pit lane. I wonder if he got caught behind the iRacing pace truck there, and it looks like he did. He will have to fall to the tail end of the line. So unfortunately, Mike Stroll going to go a lap down as a result of that incident. Rob Ackley getting the lucky dog on that caution. So he will come back around onto the lead lap. I tell you what, Patrick, kind of interesting for all the carnage we've had here in the last 20 laps or so. Still have 20 of 29 cars on the lead lap.
Well, yeah, it's because 9 of them have wrecked the last 4 cautions. They've been involved in all of them. The other 20 cars have been fine.
I'm not sure how that math checks out, but we'll see.
It's not good math, I can tell you that, but...
About on par with your crew chief and abilities there, bud.
Well...
So after the choose cone, Thomas Bressie, Blake Gordon once again going to line up on row 1. This time row 2 will be Travis McQuistion and Justin Munsell. Joe Dinsmore, and I believe that is Justin Morton on row 3. Justin Morton up 23 positions from where he started tonight. Row 4, Casey Lakatos and Matt Owens. Matt Owens also having a great night. He's up 18. Johnny Edward having a fantastic night, up 16 positions. Brent Kusick up 14, Riley Thompson up 12. The biggest droppers on the night thus far, Mike Stroll down 22, running in the 25th position. Brian Young out of the race in 28th. And Will Roberts in the 26th position, down 16 as the green flag goes back in the air. Once again, Thomas Bressie gets a great start, and they're already getting handsy with each other. Casey Lakatos, big shove on the 11 of Justin Morton down towards turn 1. Blake Gordon thought about having to look inside of Bressie into turn number 3. He's going to stay right there. Now going to run the outside, maybe try a little bit of a crossover maneuver off of turn number 4. Oh, man, big shot into the wall there for Justin Munsell. What we heard out of Boomer Logan here, Patrick, we're seeing a lot of, quite frankly, a lot of overdriving the race car early in the run.
Not only that, everyone is eager to try and get up to the front, because once everyone spaces out, there's not really anything you can do, so everyone's trying to get every inch they can get on these restarts.
Brian Keita having the look inside of Daco Parka through 3 and 4. Another side-by-side battle just back behind him, Alex Ficellio. And, well, Brent Kusick, they were side-by-side. A little bit of a slide there for the 66 of Keita. He's going to lose a couple of positions. Chad Mikas trying to get inside of Brian McFerrin. Thus far, things still semi-quiet here at the front of the field. Blake Gordon tucked in behind Thomas Bressie. We'll get that one up on the right-hand side of the screen for you. Slide a little bit further up. Brian Keita and Brian McFerrin battling towards turn number 1. In fact, Chad Mikas is going to come around to the outside of Keita. They'll be able to get the pass completed. There goes Mike Stroll around the outside of the racetrack as well. Stroll currently the first car 1 lap down. He is going to have to work to keep Brandon Wengert behind him. As that fight for the lucky dog position would put Mike Stroll onto the lead lap and at least give him a chance to try something on the strategy front. Daco Parka back up towards the top side of the racetrack and open the door for Alex Ficellio down to the inside. Ficellio gets that pass clear off of 2. We work lap 81. Tell you what, it almost looks like Mike Stroll is trying to organically unlap himself. Which, quite frankly, you're going to have to do. We pick up the side-by-side fight here off the turn number 2. The 98 of Justin Munsell trying to hold off Casey Lakatos. Riley Thompson and Johnny Edwards side by side down the front straightaway. Give that spot to Thompson at the line. Edward going to try to fight back on the outside. No dice, nothing going there. Just back behind, Boomer Logan way up the racetrack. Mike Stroll able to get clear down to the inside. Logan going to lose a couple of spots there to Johnny Edward and Alex Ficellio. Leaders are behaving themselves right now. Casey Lakatos trying to hold off Justin Munsell. Rob Ackley involved in one of the incidents earlier tonight, battling with Brandon Bernhardt. That's for the 19th position, and that fight, quite frankly, has settled down as well. So we'll slide around and head back up to the front of the field as Travis McQuistion has gotten around Blake Gordon. Justin Morton trying to get around as well as McQuistion now going after race leader Thomas Bressie. One of the things about Gateway here, Patrick, is the pit road entry is actually off of into turn number 3, basically. Green flag stops are an almost non-starter in terms of the discussion, just because of how much time you're going to lose. The only way you really make a green flag stop is if everybody has to make the green flag stop.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult pit lane to get on. Even when we were doing the Lyra Extreme Series and running those high downforce, high grip cars here, it was still almost impossible to make it on the pit road and take that access road. It is dead flat, it's tight, and it's not perfectly curved. There's not a right-hander in it that goes from sharp turn to straight to sharp turn to straight. It's incredibly difficult.
Battle for the race lead off of turn number 4. Travis McQuistion was there, has to tuck back in line down the front stretch. Heading out towards the evening here as well. This race may finish under the lights. Blake Gordon holding on to that 3rd position. Now, we've had a ton of caution flag laps, so the numbers sort of go out the window, but it's been 29 laps since the last appearance on pit road for your race leaders.
We're due for either another pit stop or another caution.
Yeah, I would say with as many caution laps as we ran, you probably could get out to lap 95, maybe even lap 100.
But nobody wants to take this pit access road to get on the pit lane and green flag stops. I mean, people are going to be pushing these tires out longer than they're comfortable for, and we're going to see an issue with some people. As we see Travis McQuistion really trying to get by Thomas Bressie, but he's held well on that outside line. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets to run down this front straightaway and clears him by 1, and it looks like he's going to do just that. Maybe not.
Oh, there's almost contact. Bressie slides up the racetrack.
Bressie trying to go for the crossover, though. Can he get it? He's got the run.
Oh, man, Travis McQuistion, maybe a little bit of right side romance down the front straightaway. Tries to force Bressi way down to the inside. Bressi almost had him clear. Oh, they might have made contact. They did. That's going to open the door for Blake Gordon. McQuistion and Gordon, they're going to door each other. Huge contact down the straightaway. Bressi backs off.
Bressi's going to get away. Oh, man.
Big brain driving from Thomas Bressi. We absolutely have to go on board. Watch the replay from onboard Thomas Bressi and listen to how early he gets out of the throttle here.
I see what's happening. I don't want any part of this. Hits the brakes, lets her down, and then gets right back on the gas to make sure he's the leader on the restart. Wow.
That's how you do it. If you're going to outthink them all, that's how you get it done. Let's see what happened here. Oh, man, McQuistion and Gordon just bouncing off each other. Big, huge hit for Justin Morton. Tough break there.
I would not want to play a game of chess with Thomas Bressi.
And Bressi going to come down pit lane.
Laughing at the two cars parked in their pit stall as he drives on by.
Interesting here, Justin Morton electing to stay out on the racetrack. However, I believe he's just still trying to get his way around. How about Casey Licato's going to win the race off of pit lane? Fantastic stop for the 50 crew. 14.43 seconds. 4 fresh Goodyear sneakers and 2 big old cans of Sunoco racing fuel. Going to put Casey Licato's into the race lead ahead of Thomas Bressi. Joe Dinsmore, Justin Munsell, Matt Owens will be the top 5 off of pit lane. Here we're seeing Justin Morton making his way in. So these cars will come around. That is a full-on wheel and modified there for Justin Morton. A lot of required repairs there for the 11 machine. So now, Patrick, we are down to 29 laps to go here at Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois. Will Roberts electing to stay out. He will get a wave around. But Roberts has only completed 78 laps to this point, so 12 laps down to your race leaders. How many bullets is Thomas Bressi going to dodge tonight?
I would say he's playing in the Matrix. That's how he's dodging bullets.
Let's bring in our race leader here, Casey Licato's. Casey, we talked to you earlier. You said you didn't have a lot of speed. Now you're organically at the front of the field. Tell us about the night. Obviously dodging a lot of carnage, but good run here to be up in P1.
Thank you. I am shocked to be here. I honestly almost thought I was going to get Bressi before that caution came out. I was Days of Thunder in it, kind of. Honestly, I've been just trying to back up the corners, just something to make it hold on for dear life, because that right front just leaves us so quick. I am hopeful I have something for him, but I mean, I'm P15 as far as qualifying is concerned, so I'm kind of concerned about that. I think he's got raw speed over me. I'm hoping I got long run, though.
All right, bud. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. We'll let you get ready to go back to green. And, man, I'll tell you what, fantastic run tonight for Casey Licato's. He is up 14 to be your race leader. He will line up on the outside of row number 1. Thomas Bressi restarting on the inside. Justin Munsell, Joe Dinsmore on row 2. Row 3, Riley Thompson up 23 and Matt Owens up 19. Row 4, Alex Vichelio, Chris Matthews, Brian McFerrin, Daco Parka on row 5. Great restart there from Casey Lakatos. Not able to open up the same kind of monster gap that Bressi was. Oh man, but Bressi really has to grab the binders. That's going to allow the 98 of Justin Munsell almost caught back up, but everybody having to check up here as we head down the back straightaway. Riley Thompson looking inside of Joe Dinsmore. Wow, nice pass there by Riley Thompson. That car has been quick since he joined the tour. And at this point, Casey Lakatos doing a nice job of holding off Thomas Bressi. Bring you up the side-by-side. You'll have the race leaders on the left-hand side of the screen. Oh, buddy, Boomer Logan, Alex Vichelio getting into a little game of grab ass there off of turn number 2. Logan really sends it deep. One car, that was Brian Keita way up on the outside of the racetrack into turn number 3. Good fight off the corner here. Chad Mikas going to be involved in that one. Mikas battling with the 65 of Brent Kusick. Now Mikas going to look down to the inside of Johnny Edward through 3. 25, now 24 laps to go, and Casey Lakatos is doing exactly what he needs to do, holding off Thomas Bressi. A night that had the potential to be a wild card in the Fuel Finals has been just that. Difficult to pass on, the sun setting behind turn number 4. Highly likely we are going to see the lights on here in the next lap or so. Track temperature down to 83 degrees as well. Patrick, I would imagine that's going to help these guys manage the tires a good bit as well.
Yeah, it's going to make the cars understeer a little bit more, but it's going to give more grip to the drivers so they can keep the same pace without pushing the cars. Or if you've got a little bit of tire life left, you can absolutely push the car and go a hell of a lot faster.
Riley Thompson may have gotten up into the outside safer barrier at the exit of turn 4 that time. Joe Dinsmore having to look down to the inside. Dinsmore has to back out of the run, middle of the corner. Just could not keep everything wound up. That will allow Thompson to stay there. Here comes Alex Vichelio on Matt Owens. And the battle for the lead is heating up. Lakatos on the outside of the racetrack. Bressi down to the inside. We'll take that for a finish 21 laps from now. Man, Lakatos really drives it deep into 1 and 2. Bressi starts to slide up the racetrack. A little bit of a wiggle there out of Bressi as he got off at turn number 2. Has to tuck back in line. If you're Thomas Bressi, you have to be thinking, you know you can get the run done. At this point, it almost becomes, when do you make the move? You really don't want to have to fight him for very long.
You kind of got to just sit there and apply pressure and let him make the move for you. Just like that, get right up on his rear bumper, fill up his mirror, and let him make the mistake, and the move will present itself. Now, that move might not come. It might get late enough in this race where you got to make that move yourself. Push him up the racetrack a little bit. It seems like that door is open. Thomas Bressi's going to try and walk right in.
Great battle back there between Joe Dinsmore and Matt Owens as well, but Thomas Bressie, no, clear-ish down the front stretch.
Now, we're late enough in the race where that spotter's not saying bumper anymore. They're just saying clear.
Yeah, it's door, bumper, and that's it. You're not getting the clear, or you're not getting the bumper part anyway. Get past the door and force them up the racetrack if you have to. And again, Dinsmore and Owens going to continue this fight. These guys have been side by side for a handful of laps now. Owens will finally be clear as they cross the start-finish line. I'll tell you what, Patrick, I'm really surprised that we're not seeing any of the effects of the lighting around the racetrack yet. It is definitely starting to get dark for these drivers.
The track promoter sees there's only 18 laps left and is praying there's not a caution so he doesn't have to pay the electric bill to turn the lights on.
Go on board here with Casey Licatos as he's trying to chase down Thomas Bressie. And quite frankly, this could be a championship crowning night for Thomas Bressie with the way things stand right now. Mike Stroll currently running in the 17th position. He was second entering the night in points. Justin Morton is 20th. He was third in points. That was the only two drivers within 40 markers of the lead. Oh, big hit into the outside wall for Owens. We're going to stay green, but good Lord, that was a big smack into the wall. Daco Parka slides all the way up to the safer barrier through 1 and 2. Brian McFerrin down to the inside of him as they head down the back straightaway. Now down to 16 laps to go. If we get a caution flag, these drivers do have one set of tires left in the box. At what point is it too late to take that last set of tires?
Depends on a lot of factors, like how far back are you in the field. If there's a caution that comes out with 3 to go and you've only got 2 spots behind you to go anyway, absolutely take those tires. But if you're in the lead then, it's a little too late.
Casey Licatos doing a very nice job of holding on to Thomas Bressie. Oh, big smack the wall there for Alex Viccellio. He got a large piece of the safer barrier exiting turn 4 that time. Just back behind Viccellio is this battle between Matt Owens and Brian McFerrin. Owens will be able to get clear. So we'll go back to following your race leaders here. That time by Thomas Bressie opening up a significant gap here on Casey Licatos. But this race very much not over yet. Matt Owens and Brian McFerrin continuing their battle. They'll trade a little bit of final wrap through turn 3 that time. McFerrin going to be able to get clear as we are down to 12 laps to go here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We'll pull up the leaders on the right-hand side of your screen, show you some of the other battles that are going on a little bit deeper in the pack. Rob Ackley trying to get around Johnny Edward down the back stretch. He has to tuck back in line as they head towards turn 3. Ackley down to the inside, and he will... No, Well, he's not clear, but he had the spot at the line. As we are down to 11 to go. Ackley will be clear this time through 1 and 2, but Edward going to be able to get a little bit of a run. Nothing close enough. That position swap will stay right where it is. Now moving up, picking up Riley Thompson, Joe Dinsmore, and Alex Vicelio. This is the battle right behind your race leaders. As Thomas Bressi has opened up an almost 0.6 of a second gap this time into 1. Ooh, Dinsmore almost up into the back end of Riley Thompson there, getting into turn number 3. Now inside of 10 to go. And we will be at the longest stint of the night on tires for these drivers, if we can get to the end without a yellow. Still 22 cars remaining on the lead lap, including cars that were, quite frankly, fairly heavily damaged in incidents. Slide back here just a little bit. We'll pick up Daco Parker and Chad Mikas as they get off into turn 1. Matt Owen's going to be just ahead of them. Little bit of a bobble from Owens, forced Oparka to back off. That will allow Mikas a little bit of a run, not close enough to capitalize off of turn 4.
However, he's going to try once again, just get to the inside of Dak Parker. Just slides up the racetrack.
We'll move a little bit further ahead in the field here. Joe Dinsmore wants a piece of Riley Thompson, but he also has to worry about Alex Vicelio out the back window as well, as it will now be 6 to go here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Thomas Bressi's lead over Casey Lakatos almost to 1 second as they went through 1 and 2 that time. Things may be starting to settle down just a little bit here as we get later in the run. And Patrick, this has been a pretty long green flag run on this set of tires. These drivers are now going to be starting to feel almost like where they were at the end of the first run that we had tonight.
Yeah, these cars aren't going to want to turn. They're not going to want to really do anything other than go straight. And it makes them very difficult to drive, very difficult to pass, and Thomas Bressi is in prime position because he's got clean air up there, so at least he's got that air pushing down on the car, giving him a little bit of downforce to help him through these corners.
Yeah, the problem thing he does not want to see right now is a yellow flag. That would put him into that ugly, ugly question of if I come, nobody else is, and if I don't, everybody else will.
You said yellow flag, so now if one comes out, he's going to be very mad at you.
I'll take that. We like chaos and carnage. Makes for fantastic television. It'll be 3 laps to go this time by for Thomas Bressi. down now to 2 to go. And, well, quite frankly, Patrick, no surprise at this point. Thomas Bressi doing what he has done all season long. Be there at the end, capitalize on other people's mistakes, and be ready to go when the time arises.
Yeah, he's almost the Kevin Harvick of this league. Just the closer. He doesn't need to be up front at the beginning. You just know he'll be there at the end.
White flag is out, 1 lap to go here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and it has been Thomas Bressi most of the night. A fantastic drive out of the Exalta number 24, leading a race-high 84 laps. Just a couple of more corners to go, and the checkered flag will fly over the Malvern, Pennsylvania native. Thomas Bressi wins at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Fantastic run for Casey Lakatos up to second, and Justin Munsell will round out the podium. Riley Thompson up 24 positions, will finish in 4th. Joe Dinsmore completes the top 5 here this evening. Tell you what, great drive tonight by Thomas Bressi. There's been some other just epic performances here. Riley Thompson, we mentioned, up 24. Matt Owens up 17. And what looks like it very well could be a championship crowning moment for Thomas Bressi. The closest pursuer to Thomas Bressi in the standings after this race tonight, Justin Munsell, finishing in the third position tonight. Munsell was 51 points back. Got the Bressi burnouts in slow-mo. Let's take a look at your race results here this evening. Bressi the win by 1.348 seconds over Casey Lakatos. Justin Munsell, Riley Thompson, Joe Dinsmore complete the top 5. Brian McFerrin, Alex Ficellio, Matt Owens, Daco Parkett, and Chad Mikas, your top 10. 11 to 15, Chris Matthews, Boomer Logan, Brent Kusick, Rob Ackley, and Brian Keita. Mike Stroll, Tyler Hensley, Justin Morton, John Gervin, and Brandon Bernhardt back through the 20th position. 21st, Kyle Cooper. 22nd, Johnny Edward. 23rd to Brandon Wengard. 24th, Will Roberts. And Travis McQuistion, 25th. 26th place tonight will be Blake Gordon. Don Runkle in 27th. Brian Young, 28th. And Casey Shue will round out the field here this evening. We'll get ready for the Victory Lane interviews. We do have some award winners that we will at least do our best to talk to here tonight as well. Have to get the graphics all ready to go on that one. But I'll tell you what, Patrick, give us your thoughts here. Really an interesting race that we saw tonight, and ultimately kind of what we figured would happen, Thomas Bressi being up near the front at the end of it.
Yeah, it was a very, very good race. We had a little bit of action in the middle where brought out a ton of cautions, but that's usual for Gateway. This track is just so difficult on tires, and that's exactly what we saw. It's not a normal racetrack by any stretch of the words. it's like they built Darlington out here and took away all the banking. Is really how this track drives. It's I would almost put it in a road course category, kind of like where I would put Pocono or Indianapolis, where you're really getting on the brakes, really jamming the steering wheel, and racing the track more than you're racing the car.
That's a great point on that one, and we will ask that to our race winner here tonight as we get ready to talk to Thomas Bressi, picking up another victory this season. We got the replay queued up. We'll bring him into the booth with us, and we will congratulate our race winner and quite possibly our champion of the Fuel Premier Series. Mr. Thomas Bressi, congratulations, bud. Absolutely fantastic drive tonight. Talk us through the night, how things went for you, and ultimately what may be the biggest role here in possibly winning a championship.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it fantastic driving on my part. I made a few mistakes, and I would kind of like to apologize to Travis and Blake and Justin for that last thing. I know that the 93 and the 13 got together off of 4, but that none of us probably would have been in that spot if I didn't get off into 3 a little too hard and knock the 93 up the racetrack. So I mean, I apologized to him before, but I still don't obviously feel that great about it because we were racing clean up until that point, and yeah, that could have gone better on my part. So, but yeah, still definitely wasn't easy, and had some luck, I guess, in the sense that I don't know what there it sounded like there was a lot of stuff going on in the middle of the field, like kind of around the halfway mark of the race, and I heard somebody join the space program. It was an eventful time from what I gathered. So, yeah, I mean, even at the end there, I still didn't really feel like I don't think there was a single point tonight where I was like, okay, this is like my race or anything. Cause like I said it before, like I haven't raced here in a couple of years, and I was like where I started in practice to where I was at qualifying to where I was at the start of the race to where I was at the end of the race. All of those points were totally different because I was still figuring stuff out. So, it was tricky, and it was hard to keep the tires under it tonight because they weren't really wearing, but they were getting stupid hot. Like I think one time we came in and the right fronts were like I don't know, like 300 degrees or something. They were cooking, so it was a handful. But there was some good close racing tonight. It was yeah, it was eventful for sure. That's about all I can say.
Getting the comment in here from Red Light Media, the championship is not 100% official, but you would need to no-show next week, or we get a 34-plus car field at Homestead. Obviously, we were pretty close to it tonight with 29 cars, but it would take a lot for you to not win the championship here. What are your thoughts here as we head into Homestead, and quite frankly, what could be a bit of a victory lap next week?
Yeah. I mean, just as I've been saying all year, just try to keep doing what I've been doing, I guess, and have another clean race, or maybe a little cleaner than tonight at least. Might be a good thing. But yeah, just try to get through next week. I mean, obviously, like I did not expect any of what happened tonight to have happened to the people I was racing in the championship. To myself, I thought I was going to like struggle bus the whole night. So I mean, heck, next week could be the total opposite, and it could be topsy turvy on like lap 5 for all we know. So, but we still got one more race, and that's why we keep racing. So it's not done yet, and we'll just try to seal the deal next week.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on picking up the win and getting very close to a championship. Blake Gordon checking in, by the way, saying all good. He didn't want to finish the race anyway. Yeah, you know what? This was a fun one tonight. We are looking forward to next week's season finale at Homestead. And before we let you go here, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, just as always, thanks to the JT Motorsports guys. I know Casey kind of got wrecked early tonight, which he was not very happy about. So it sucks for him. And Tyler got caught up in one of those whatever it was in the middle of the race. I think some guys got together in front of him and just had nowhere to go. And TR guys for working together. And again, apologize to Justin for him getting caught up in that shenanigans that I kind of set off. So, but yeah, shout out to the admins. Of course, thanks to them for doing what they do. All the series sponsors and partners that have been a part of what we're doing this year and making this so special. And obviously, you guys for putting on a good broadcast and allowing people to relive all the action and death and despair and the funness that is fuel sometimes.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much, Thomas. Absolutely incredible season. I didn't want to say it to him because it would be a commentator's curse, but 14 starts, 8 wins, 15 starts now. 8 wins, 15 top 5 finishes. He has been in the top 5 every race this season. Absolutely incredible run for Thomas Bressi this season. And go ahead, Patrick.
I was gonna say that is unheard of. It's literally been a flawless season. Which now I'm gonna commentate curse him, but
yes, that is exactly right. Guy who didn't get a commentator's curse tonight, Casey Licata is picking up the second place finish here in the Chance 3 Design Shop 150. Man, we've talked to you a couple of times already, but kind of overall thoughts on the night here. It was you thought you had nothing, you had a lot, and then ultimately Thomas kind of doing what he's done all season and having just a little bit more pace at the end. But all in all, an absolutely fantastic night.
I couldn't agree more. Honestly, I'm happy for the 50 team that we were able to bring one home. Finally in the top 3. Honestly, I was keeping a little distance on Bressi early on there, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, really? Pulling a little. Really? I'm going to be able to do this? And then I was like, I wonder if it's the aero wash, and there was just a lot. There was a lot tonight, and Bressi doing what Bressi does just caught me slipping up. I drove it into 3-1 too many times, and that right front was starting to become a little bit of a dump truck. And no, otherwise I'm real happy to get that second place finish. Yeah, I mean, just being back in the field, it definitely felt like it wasn't that fast. Again, qualifying 15th, I didn't think I had much for it, but as things started to clear up, kind of like Nashville for me, which didn't run it here, but just general racing, it just was all aero dependent. So it definitely was nice to have our car up front tonight.
And quite frankly, a little bit of a redeeming run on your points season as well here. Entering the night 12th in the fuel finals standings. Now, you only made 11 starts this season, so the numbers are a little bit skewed, but getting your second top 5 of the season, your fourth top 10, maybe build a little bit of momentum. Obviously, we'll be off for a few weeks here until the next Fuel Premier Series season comes back, but got to be putting some good thoughts in your head here at this point, too.
Definitely putting some good thoughts in my head. I'm actually going to be on the road next week, so I will be missing a race. Last week was, sadly, my hauler didn't make it to the track due to tire updates. No, I'm just had a iRacing update I didn't get in early enough on and just missed it by a couple minutes. And honestly, Fontana I was really hopeful for because that's, drives a little more plate-like. But yeah, I can't complain. I think every fuel season that we've ended up running here with the 50 car, we've at least gotten in. Not saying competitive top 5, but at least gotten in. So,
well, I tell you what, it was a heck of a run for you tonight. Congratulations on the runner-up finish. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Well, I gotta thank you guys for the broadcast right off the bat and bringing me on up. And Sim TV, Sim Motorsports, FCP Euro, Grid Life. I mean, all those guys put the sponsors on the car, keep me running. So I can't thank those guys enough for keeping me employed. Just trying to get those good finishes to put their names in lights.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much, Casey. We appreciate you spending some time with us here. And let's bring in our third place finisher tonight here, Mr. Justin Munsell. And man, I'll tell you what, Justin, you were a little bit here, there, everywhere. The car's got some damage on it. It didn't look like you started, top 5, top 6, but you were kind of there most of the night. Not a bad run for you.
Yeah, no, it was. I'll definitely take a top 3, especially with the damage I had towards the end. I got kind of caught up in like the lighter side of a few of those cautions. I think I broadsided both Micus and Stroll at one point. didn't have too much damage, but then I skimmed the wall and that pretty much did me in. So I was kind of just holding on for your dear life in third place on that last run.
Yeah, you know what? It was a good run, and it's going to help you out in the championship battle a little bit here as well. You entered the night 5th in points. Several guys ahead of you had some issues. Could very well be looking at possibly a second-place points finish here if you put the cards right together next week at Homestead.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I know with my schedule, I'm going to be barely making it to the cut for qualifying next week, so I'm not going to have much time for practice. So I'm just kind of along the ride for Homestead. It's not typically my best track, so I'm just going to kind of play it nice and easy and see where the cards are, what cards are dealt to me.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the 3rd place finish here tonight. And before we let you go, make sure we get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yep, just gonna thank my guys at Sky Motorsports. They always keep me entertained. You guys have been fantastic all year. I've said it multiple times, but I feel like you guys have to hear it every time. So thanks to you guys, and thanks to the league as well.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate the kind words. Very, very nice of you here. And actually, Justin also is. Let me get the. We'll get the graphics swapped over here. But he is.
Gives us too much credit.
Yes, he does. He is also the Nerdy as Hell podcast Rookie of the Race Award recipient. So not a bad run there for the rookie. And I believe our hard charger and league admins will correct me on this one if I am wrong. But let's re-queue up the replay, at least while we try to find them here. Matt Owens picking up the Primate Pest Elimination Hard Charger Award tonight. That car was bounced around, ping-ponged, and kind of all over the place. But very nice run there for Matt Owens to pick up that Primate Pest Elimination Hard Charger. He gained 17 positions. Riley Thompson actually gained more, 24 positions to finish in 4th. However, we didn't see Thompson's car on the racetrack for qualifications, so I believe that makes him ineligible for the Hard Charger Award. But we'll confirm that, and we'll kind of let everybody know that one back next week if we did make the mistake there. With that, though, Patrick, it is time for us to get ready to get the heck on out of here. This race had a little bit of everything, and I know we say that a lot, but it really did this week. We had some long green flag runs. We had cautions. We had big ones. We had little ones. We had all sorts of stuff going on here tonight.
Yeah, I say it all the time. This race had a little bit of everything. But this one in a different way. We got our plate race wrecks, we got our road course wrecks, we got our short track wrecks, and we got our intermediate wrecks. And it was honestly impressive that we still kept as many cars in the lead lap at the end as we did with the amount of cars that were junked.
Yeah, it was actually looking back at the numbers here, 21 cars finishing on, or no, I'm sorry, excuse me, 13 cars finishing on the lead lap tonight. Those last couple of wrecks took a bunch of them, put them a lap down. But, man, that was a fun one. And then we're going to wrap the season up next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Really looking forward to that one. I love how the Xfinity car races at Homestead, or the B-Class car anyway, on iRacing. But with that, we are getting out of here. A fantastic show put on once again by the stars and cars of the Fuel Premier Series. We'll be back for one more race next week. And then we're going to get a little bit of time off here. Hopefully we have some news to announce on. We would love to come back and do this series again. Great racing all the time, and a nice group of guys as well.
Fantastically fun to watch.
Fun to watch, and they're nice guys to talk to as well. Very just genuinely decent humans. So we'll take that one. But with that, we are getting the heck on out of here. No TNT Shock Series next week. They are on their summer hiatus. We will be back next week. We'll be back Wednesday night with the Sim Racers Club Premier Series, followed by the Ezra and Indy Pro 2000 Championship doubleheader. That will be Thursday night starting at 8:30 in the East, 8:30 and 10:15. And then we're going to be right back here on Monday night for the season finale of the Fuel Premier Series. With that, we are getting the heck on out of here. For Patrick Byrne and everybody at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.